a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 130. Be on the lookout for Andrew Holman, described as American, 5 feet 8 inches, 135 pounds, 35 years old, wearing a brown chinchilla coat. This man shot and killed Detective Paul Lee of the fugitive detail this evening. That's all. Rosenquist.
Of tonight's broadcast, we have 3 very important guests we wish to introduce. Don't miss this special feature on tonight's program. These true crime dramatizations are created and sponsored by Rio Grande because this company is in such close touch with police work in the many leading cities and counties of the West that specify Rio Grande cracked gasoline exclusively to power their police and emergency cars. And the drivers of these police cars are such boosters for this gasoline that Rio Grande is proud to tell the public through this program of the heroic deeds of the police officers who use Rio Grande cracked gasoline daily to meet emergencies. Cruising slowly along, hour after hour, these police cars suddenly get a radio call for help. Down goes the throttle. The engine roars into action. Rio Grande cracked gasoline meets the emergency with instantaneous power. Precious seconds are saved as Rio Grande cracked develops top speed without the sluggishness or delay characteristic of uncracked gasolines. No wonder thousands of police drivers and the drivers of fire engines, ambulances, and motorcycles are so enthusiastic about Rio Grande cracked. No wonder this gasoline powers more emergency equipment everywhere it is sold than any other brand. The most convincing proof of the efficiency of Rio Grande cracked gasoline is its use year after year for the most difficult job any gasoline has ever had. In your car, too, Rio Grande cracked will produce the same sensational speed, power, and acceleration that makes other users of Rio Grande cracked gasoline boast about their police car performance. And now it is our pleasure to present Captain Bert Wallace, head of the homicide squad of the Los Angeles Police Department. Captain Wallace.
Good evening, friends. How much money would you want to risk your lives day in and day out? How much would you demand to take a job where you knew that any moment your career might be permanently ended by a bullet? Would you want $100 a week to take such a risk? Or do you value your life at a higher rate, say $500 or $1,000? Whatever your evaluation is, I feel sure you would expect more for such a risk than your police officers receive. And your police officer, every moment he is on duty, is taking this risk that the peace of your community may not be violated. This statement is no idle romancing. There isn't a police officer on the force who has not had a brother officer and close friend taken from him by the bullet of a lawbreaker. No one realizes more than the police officer the real meaning of that much-used phrase, the war against crime. It is a real war to these men who may at any moment sacrifice their lives. It is a fight to the finish. As you may realize after hearing the details of the Holman case, which started with a routine police matter and ended with 3 tombstones in the cemetery.
It is a few days before Christmas in 1932 when Detective Paul T. Lee and H.C. Lindley of the fugitive detail of the Los Angeles Police Department are called into the office of their captain.
Come in, boys. Come in. Have a seat. What's up, Cap? I've got a request from the sheriff of Marin County, Paul. He wants us to pick up a fellow by the name of Abe Schiller.
Yeah? What's he want him for?
Forgery. Here's the warrant for his arrest, and here's his mug and description.
Huh. Got quite a record, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Got any tips on where we might find him, Captain?
Yes, Lindley. According to the sheriff's information, he's pretty thick with a girl by the name of Flo Barnes. She's got a little spot out on Wilshire near Whitmer. I've jotted the address down here, and I'd suggest you go out and talk to her first.
Okay, Cap. We'll get on it right away. Here's the apartment, Paul. Name's on the door.
Push the buzzer.
Okay.
Come back later. I'm busy.
So are we. Come on, open up.
Who is it?
I imagine you got a pretty good idea. Better open up the door now like a nice girl.
Oh, all right. Oh, I thought it sounded like bulls. What's the beef?
Nothing for you to worry about. We're looking for Abe Schiller.
Abe Schiller. I don't know no Abe Schiller.
My partner said we weren't going to worry you, and that's so if you're on the up and up with us.
Well, sure, I'm willing.
All right. Where's Abe Schiller?
I don't know. On the level, I don't.
Expecting him?
Well, I never know when he's going to drop around. Maybe he will, and maybe he won't.
I think we'll just drop in and wait for him.
Oh, you can't do that. You see, I'm not...
You don't have to dress for us. We're not company. Besides, that kimono's becoming to you, Flo. Aren't you going to ask us to sit down?
Okay, have a seat.
With pleasure. What is that noise? Somebody in the other room. What's the idea, Flo? A double cross?
Come out of there, you. With your hands in the air.
Yes, sir. I'm coming. Who is this guy, Flo?
A friend of mine.
What's his name?
I don't know.
What's your name, buddy?
Eddie Tremont.
What are you doing here?
Well, just visiting.
Where do you work?
Down on 7th Street at a gas station.
Well, you better get out of here and beat it back to the gas station. This ain't a very healthy place for punks.
Yes, sir.
You got a nerve.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Flo, entertaining kids like this.
And you ought to be ashamed scaring them half to death.
I'm sorry, Flo.
Sorry for what?
Well, you know.
Beat up before these two flatties run you in for a bag.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye, kid. See you down on 7th Street someday.
Now, look here, Flo. Ain't no sense in getting tough. We might as well be friends.
What for?
Why not? You can make it tough for us, and maybe someday we'll make it tough for you. Or you can make friends with us, and you won't be sorry.
Well...
What do you know about Abe Schiller?
Nothing much.
How long have you known him?
Oh, off and on for a couple of years.
What's he do for a living?
I never asked him. Why, what do you got on him?
Forgery.
That's possible. I'll go.
Oh, no, you won't. You stay right where you're at. I'll answer the door. Who are you looking for?
What's it to you? Who are you?
Police officer.
Oh, a police officer, eh?
Hey, come back here.
Look out, officer, he's got a gun!
Paul, you hurt bad?
Pretty bad, partner. I guess I'm...
A block away, at the corner of 7th and Whitmer, William Swan is halted by a red signal light when a man jumps onto the running board of his car. Swan looks up into the blue steel mouth of an automatic.
Button up your lip, buddy. You sing and I'll blow daylight through you.
Oh, well, what do you want?
You know, you're helping me to a getaway, see? Just drive what I tell you.
Yeah, but listen, I got a date. My girl's waiting for me.
Yeah? Well, there's a rope waiting for me if I don't get out of this beef. There's the bell. Well, what are you waiting for?
But...
I ain't kidding, buddy. Now get going. All right, turn. Turn left to the 7th, and then get over to Bixel to 8. And act natural, you mug.
So that's the way it happened, Cap. Paul died on the way to Georgia Street.
Paul was one of my best friends, and it had to be me that sent him to his death.
You can't look at it that way, Captain. It's all part of our business.
Yes, I know. But I never can get used to it. Seeing fine men like Paul Lee go out of the picture at the hands of some dirty rat.
This dirty rat will pay up pretty quick.
Get a pretty good description of him?
Better than that. I got an identification from the girl, Flo.
You did?
Yeah. She says she knows the guy. I brought her in to show her the mug book and get a positive identification. She's outside. You want to talk to her?
Yeah. Bring her in.
Come on in, Flo. Captain, this is Flo Barnes.
Glad to meet you, Miss Barnes. Won't you be seated?
Thanks.
You were a witness to the murder of Detective Lee?
Yeah, but I didn't have anything to do with it, Captain. I swear I didn't.
Now, let me assure you that you are not under suspicion of any sort. But we would appreciate your assistance.
I've always kept out of jams. I don't like this one.
No, we don't either. But it's our job to find the man who murdered Paul Lee. Not that arresting him will return Paul to his family, but because that murderer is a threat to society as long as he remains at liberty.
You realize that I may be putting myself on the spot if I help you.
Yes, and we'll give you every protection you need. Who shot Lee?
Well, it was Andy Holman.
Where's he live?
I don't know. Really, I don't.
Is he a friend of yours?
Well, he drops in to see me every now and then. He's an ex-con.
Here's the mug book, Flo.
Oh.
You recognize his picture?
Yeah, That's him, all right.
I'd say so, too.
Andy Holman, eh? San Quentin, number 31926. Sent up for first-degree robbery. Parole June 1st. He's only been out 6 months.
Beg pardon, Captain.
Yes, Mac.
There's a man out here who was sent over from Central. Got a report to make that may connect up with the shooting.
Send him in.
Yes, sir. You come in, please?
Are you the captain?
Yes, what is it?
Well, a guy just held me up and made me drive him halfway across town with his gun in my ribs.
Where did this happen?
Well, I was waiting for a green light at the corner of 7th and Whitmer Street.
7th and Miller? That's just a couple of blocks from Flo's apartment, Skipper.
What did this fellow say?
He told me to keep quiet and drive him where he wanted to go.
Did you?
Did I? With that automatic of his tickling me? You bet your life I did.
Where did you take him?
Well, he got out at the corner of 8th and Hill.
And what did he look like?
Well, he was about medium height, and he wore a brown chinchilla coat.
Did he look anything like this picture?
Well, yeah, that's him.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Get me the complaint board. Hello. Put out an all-cars broadcast to pick up Andrew Holman. Described as American, 5 feet 8 inches, 130 pounds, 35 years, slender build.
But with every Los Angeles police officer alertly watching for the murder of Detective Lee, and with every California city and county promising cooperation in the manhunt, Andy Holman cleverly continues to elude capture. A month later, he is still at liberty, planning another crime in an East Side speakeasy with his 2 Confederates, Sterling McLean Smith and Tommy Bender, and Tommy's girl, Stella.
Hey, boys, this'll be a cinch. A little branch bank out in the valley, and not a bull for miles.
How much do you think it's good for, Andy?
Well, you ought to be 20 grand in that place, Tommy. You're going to have a swell time helping Tommy spend 6,000 or 7,000 bucks, ain't you, Stella?
Yeah.
You don't sound very interested.
Oh, sure. I'm interested in keeping Tommy out of trouble.
He can't get into no trouble on this job. It's a pushover.
Don't you worry about me, baby. I'll be all right. All you got to worry about is how you'll spend the dough.
Hey, listen, Stella. I know how to pick 'em, see? And when I met Tommy up at Quentin, I sized him up for a smart kid. The only reason he took that rep was because he made a mistake. But he learned lots of lessons in stir. Didn't you, Tommy?
You bet.
Seems to me he didn't learn the most important lesson.
Yeah? What's that?
That you can't win against the bulls.
Yeah, nuts. What's that dame know about this record? Dames oughtn't to have any opinions. Dames ought to be left at home.
All right, Mac, lay off Stella.
I just made a general statement. Seems to me you guys are wasting a lot of time shooting up your face. When do we pull this job, Andy?
Tomorrow morning about 11:30. The bank's pretty empty then. You'll handle the car, Mac. And Tommy and me will knock the joint over.
Don't you think I ought to go in with you?
No, I want to give Tommy a little first-hand experience. I've got a lot of confidence in him.
Gee, thanks, Andy.
Tommy, if you don't mind, I'd like you to take me home. I've got a headache.
Oh, sure, honey. I'd be glad to, only, well, we got to plan this thing. And...
Of course, if you don't want to leave, I can take a cab.
Oh, no, it ain't that, baby, but don't you see...
Go on, Tommy. Take her home. Take her home. And be over at my spot tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I'll tell you what to do then.
Okay, Andy. Come on, Stella. I'll see you in the morning, boys.
Okay, kid.
So long, kid.
Tommy, you mustn't go out with them tomorrow.
Yeah, but I got it, baby. I'm in this thing with them.
But you don't have to be. Well, you're only out of prison 2 months, and you're starting in again. You know what they do when you break your parole?
They're never going to know anything about it. With that dough, you and I can go off to China or someplace and be set for the rest of our lives.
I'll never touch a cent of that money, Tommy.
What?
I mean it. If you go out on that job with them tomorrow, I'm through with you. Can't you see what you're running into? Even if it wasn't wrong, you can't trust that Andy Holman. He'd double-cross his own mother.
Now, listen, Stella, you don't know Andy. He's a swell guy. Why, he did more for me up in Quentin than anybody. He made it easy for me. He was a big shot up there. I owe him plenty.
So your idea of paying him back is to hold up banks with him?
Oh, look, Stella, I'm lucky that he wants me to work with him. There's plenty of other guys that jump at the chance. I'm a lucky guy, I tell you.
You're an ungarnished fool, Tommy. And if you go out with Andy tomorrow, you've seen me for the last time.
All right, folks, we're leaving now. And if you know what's good for you, you'll not let out a peep for 5 minutes. How about it, Tommy?
Here's the dough. How about everything I can move into this poke?
Good. Give it to me. Now, you cover me while I get into that car.
Okay, I'll stay right here till you call me.
You all set, Andy?
Set.
And listen, here comes the cops.
Step on it then, kid.
What about the kid?
The devil with him. We got ourselves to think about.
Hey, Andy, wait a minute. Wait for me, Andy. You can't leave me here. The bulls are coming. Andy!
All right, young fella. Drop that gun and throw up your hands. Come along with me, Bender.
Oh, for what, turnkey? They're not going to question me again, are they?
Nope, you got a visitor.
Yeah? Who is it?
I don't know. Come on. In this office here.
Stella.
Oh, Tommy, darling.
But you said you'd never see me again if I went on that job.
I know it, but you idiot. Oh, I guess I'd forgive anything you did.
Oh, gosh. You don't know what it means to know I have at least one friend in the world.
Come on, sit down at this desk here. Tell me all about it. You look worn out. Have they been hard on you?
Well, they haven't let me get much sleep trying to find out who was on the job with me.
Well, why don't you tell them?
Not me. I'm no squealer.
Oh, Tommy, you're such a fool. What is
Shut up, Stella.
Why, tell me, what's the matter with you, shouting like that? And what are you drumming on the table for?
You see that lamp?
Yeah.
Well, there might be a dictaphone in it. This drumming will cover our conversation.
Why don't you tell them who was with you, honey? They'll make it easier for you.
I'm not a squealer, Stella.
But can't you see that Andy double-crossed you? He drove away from that bank out there and let you take the rap.
Well, he couldn't help it. The cops were coming.
He deliberately threw you to them to make his own getaway. I told you that guy wasn't on the level.
Well, even if what you say is the truth, I ain't going to squawk. I took my chances and I lost, and, well, that's that.
You know they'll throw away the key on you when you go up this time.
Well, that's just too bad. But I ain't going to get out of this at Andy's expense.
I'm going to get you out, and I don't care who pays the bill. I don't know why I should break my heart over a fool like you, but I can't help myself.
Oh, no, Stella, look, it's better this way. I'll ride the beef, and then when I get out, I'll go straight for shore. Then we can start all over again.
What? You expect me to wait 10 years for you? You think I can stand that? I want you right now, and I'm going to get you. So that's the real lowdown on that job, Captain. Tommy wasn't a bad kid. He's just a fall guy. The men you want are Andy Holman and Stuart McLean Smith.
We're not half as interested in Holman for this bank job as we are on a little murder rap.
A murder?
Yeah. We've been looking for him for 2 months. He shot a police officer in cold blood just before Christmas.
I'm not surprised. He's capable of anything.
Would you be willing to help us?
I'll do anything to see that rat where he belongs. But if I do, will you spring Tommy?
I can't make you any promises. But I believe that the extenuating circumstances you've indicated will influence the jury when you testify at his trial. Furthermore, I can assure you that the reward on Holman's head will go to you if you turn him in.
Even if I didn't get a cent of that reward, even if Tommy has to go up, I'm not going to stop until I've turned Andy Holman over to you.
But Stella, with her underworld contacts, is scarcely more successful than the police has been in their search for the murderer. 2 weeks go by while the avenging girl spends every waking hour seeking Holman, inquiring for him, visiting the places she knows he frequents. And then, as she enters a coffee joint on Main Street one night, she sees Holman and Smith seated in the back booth. Striving to appear casual, she approaches them.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hello, Stella.
Hey, Stella.
Mind if I sit down?
No, help yourself.
Well, where have you boys been keeping yourselves?
Laying low.
Uh-huh, that's what I thought.
Sort of tough on Tommy, eh, Stella?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Just a bad break, that's all. We couldn't wait for him with the bulls on our tail.
Yeah, I understand.
We've been afraid they'd give him the works down at the jail and he'd sing.
Not Tommy. You ought to know that. He's loyal.
Loyalty's got nothing to do with it when the bulls start working out on you.
Tommy can take it. It's tough on me, of course. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 10 or 15 years while he's up there.
You know, I never could figure you and him out, Stella.
What do you mean?
Well, he's a good enough kid, but he's still a kid. And you, well, you've got lots of savvy. You could have done a lot better than him.
Yeah? Looks like I'll have to start looking around now that he's out of the way.
Well, you wouldn't have to look far.
What do you mean?
No farther than across the table.
Who, Mac?
Huh? Hey, leave me out of
No, not Mac. He don't exactly waste no love on women. I mean me. I had a yen for you for a long time, Stella. And now that Tommy's out of it, I don't mind telling you so.
Gee, Andy, I didn't have any idea.
Well, what do you think about it?
Well, I think it'll be okay. He fell for it like a ton of bricks, Captain. That big chump thinks I'm going to move in with him tomorrow.
That's splendid, Stella.
Now, here's the address. Apartment 301 at 598 South Normandy. He's going to be out tomorrow chasing a bank job, and he's expecting to meet me at the apartment at 5:30.
Good. We'll have a squad of men out there by 3 o'clock.
The next afternoon, a squad composed of Detectives Homer Spencer, Ralph Davis, Harvey Birch, Cliff Gillen, and Miles Ledbetter drive up to the Normandy Avenue address. Parking their sneak cars around the corner, they approach the apartment house.
Spencer, Davis, you hide in that garage across the street.
Okay, Ledbetter.
Birch and Magnus cover the rear of the place.
Right.
And Gillen, you come inside with me. Now get this, boys. We don't want any shooting if we can help it. But we do want Holman. If we can't take him alive, we'll take him dead. There's just one thing for you to remember, and that's what this guy did to Paul Lee.
Yeah, we aren't likely to forget.
Okay, boys, take your positions. And you men on the outside, let him get in the building. We'll try to arrest him in there. You've got to be sure that he doesn't make a getaway. Come on, Gillen. Better tip off the landlady that there may be some shooting.
Here's her apartment.
Yes?
We're police officers, ma'am.
Yes?
We're looking for the man who lives in 301.
You mean Mr. Holman?
Yes.
Well, I don't think he's in.
I know he isn't.
What are you after him for?
Murder.
Murder? A murderer in my house?
Not so loud, ma'am, please. Now, we've got the place surrounded, and we're going to arrest him when he comes in. There may be some shooting, so I'd advise you to stay in your apartment this afternoon.
But you can't do that. Shooting in my house.
I assure you that we don't want to if it can be avoided. But if it's necessary, then the safest place for you is right inside your apartment. Oh, now there's one more thing. Will you give me the pass key to his apartment, please? We want to search it thoroughly before he gets back.
Well, all right. Here it is.
That's fine. Thank you very much. You've nothing to fear as long as you don't go out of your apartment.
Oh, don't worry. I won't.
Come on, Gillen. Let's give this place the once over.
Is there any chance of that Stella dame's giving us a runaround?
Sure, there's always a chance of that. But I got a hunch she's on the level. He's sure got it in for Holman.
And here's the apartment. Let's see if that pass key works.
Here you are. Looks like they just moved in. Bags aren't unpacked yet.
This one's plenty heavy.
Open it up.
It's locked.
Yeah, we'll fix that quick enough. There.
For the love of Mike.
A shotgun and a half-dozen pineapples.
And look at these boxes of 32 shells. A regular arsenal.
We just moved this across the hall to that empty apartment the painters have been working in. And that looks like a good place to stake out to me. We can leave the door open the way it is, and then we can have an unobstructed view of them as they come up the hall.
Okay.
Ledbetter and Gillen take up their post in the vacant apartment, while the other 4 officers have secreted themselves in the front and back of the building. A tense 2 hours pass while the officers scan each passing car, while the landlady, in an agony of suspense, paces her apartment, while Ledbetter and Gillen stiffen at the slightest noise. Then, a few minutes before 5:30, a car drives up to the apartment house, and Holman and Smith get out. At that moment, a friend of the landlady's telephones her. As the 2 gunmen mount the front steps of the apartment, Spencer and Davis across the street grasp their drawn guns tightly. Holman and Smith are arguing as they enter the building.
I tell you, Andy, all you're going to get is grief if you tie up with that Stella twist. Dame's as dynamite.
You worry too much, Mike. He's a good kid. Hey, listen.
I'm that frightened. I don't know what to do.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, let's lam out of here.
Okay.
Up with your hands, both of you.
Let him have
Both
it,
sides,
All right. Up with your hands.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! I'm no criminal. I'm a citizen and a taxpayer. You've already wounded me. I like a badge taken from you. I like a present.
Who is this bird,
He
Spencer?
walked into the middle of the shooting.
You got Holman. He's over there on the sidewalk, but where's the other guy?
He ran between those parked cars. Here he is over here.
Stretched out on the running board, dead. Well, boys, I guess this tallies up for Paul Lee's murder.
The well-aimed bullets of the officers saved the people the expense of a trial. Stella received the reward which offered for the murderer, and Abe Schiller, the unwitting cause of Detective Lee's death, was subsequently arrested in Santa Barbara and admitted his guilt of the charge of forgery made against him by the Marin County authorities. At this time, I want to thank the many citizens who send information into the police department to help the law enforcement agencies run down criminals. Tonight, I have with me 3 young men whose names were in the headlines today for their fine work. Did you read how 3 junior detectives found the hidden loot of many burglaries on a garage roof? They reported their discovery to the police, and as a result, we have just captured the Phantom Bandit, suspected of many recent burglaries. Mr. Lindsley will introduce you the 3 members of the Rio Grande's Junior Police Department.
Thank you, Captain Wallace. Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce first Winston Moore, captain of his own squad of junior detectives. Captain Moore, how old are you?
11 years.
You directed the search for the phantom burglar, didn't you?
Yes, but Charles O'Hara here worked right with me.
Well, we'll call you Lieutenant Charles O'Hara.
Thanks, but give the credit to my brother Bob O'Hara. He really found the stolen goods.
Congratulations, Bob. How did you do it?
I climbed on top of a garage and found where the burglars hid them.
Well, that was mighty good work. And in behalf of the police department, I thank you for your help. And in behalf of the Rio Grande Junior Police Department, I hereby present each of you with a new badge. You are all promoted to captaincies in the Rio Grande Junior Police Department.
Gee, thanks.
The Rio Grande Oil Company has also asked me to give each of you a complete junior detective outfit. Here for each of you is a Sam Brown uniform belt, a G-Man gun, a detective microscope, a fingerprint outfit, a police whistle and siren, and a lot of other articles you'll need in your junior police work. We want all the hundreds of thousands of boys and girls who now belong to the Rio Grande Junior Police Department to have this complete detective outfit, too. Rio Grande offers 15 free gifts to every boy and girl listening in tonight. Go to the dealer in your neighborhood who sells Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Ask him for a free copy of the Calling All Cars News and learn how you can become a member of the Rio Grande Junior Police Department and get a complete G-Man outfit of 15 different articles, all free. You motorists who want to enjoy police car performance in your own cars must realize that while Rio Grande cracked gasoline will revolutionize your car's performance, the wrong grade of motor oil will cut down your car's efficiency. We ask you to use Sinclair motor oils, which are sold everywhere you get Rio Grande cracked gasoline. There's no motor drag with Sinclair oil. By perfecting the processes of extracting petroleum jelly and useless wax, Sinclair developed the first of the faster-flowing oils that provide instantaneous lubrication when you start your engine. We want you to realize the big difference Rio Grande cracked gasoline makes in your car, and we know that if you also use Sinclair motor oil, you will enjoy all the thrills of police car performance.
Police calling all cars, attention all cars, a cancellation broadcast 130 regarding the murder of Officer Lee. This case is now closed. Rosenquist.
Frederick Lindsley, your narrator, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company. Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars. Broadcast 131. regarding a dead body found in the irrigation ditch near 2nd Street and Arrowhead Highway in Arcadia. That's all. Rosenquist.
It is a thrilling experience to be in the radio broadcasting room of a big city police department. You hear the calls for help coming in over the telephone, some frantic, some screaming. Thousands of emergency calls every day. Instantly, the police broadcaster flashes these messages to hundreds of radio cars cruising about the city. At each emergency call, one or more police cars roar into top speed, and with sirens screaming rush to the rescue. To shorten the period between the call for help and the arrival of the police, leading cities and counties specify Rio Grande cracked gasoline for all emergency cars. Tests have convinced officials that Rio Grande cracked excels ordinary gasolines in getting started quicker, in instant acceleration, and in power. Police cars reach top speed sooner with Rio Grande cracked gasoline. They get to the scene of the crime faster. Yet when the records are checked at the end of every month, civic officials say Rio Grande cracked gasoline is more economical than other brands because it actually delivers more miles to the gallon, as well as faster miles. Remember, Rio Grande cracked is used in more police and emergency cars wherever it is sold than any other brand. You, too, should use this emergency gasoline and enjoy police car performance in your car. You'll get speed and power when you need it for driving emergencies, and economy of operation for your pocketbook's sake. Try Rio Grande cracked gasoline. And now it is our great pleasure to introduce Sheriff Eugene Biscaloos of Los Angeles County. Sheriff Biscaloos.
Good evening. The case you will hear tonight deals with an Oriental murderer. Of all the racial groups which live among us in the West, the Orientals are among the most law-abiding and as a rule give us the least trouble. But when an Oriental is involved in a crime, the investigating officers face a difficult task. The philosophy of the Asiatic, his psychology, his viewpoint is so completely different from ours that an experienced officer must be assigned to such cases. The manner in which Chief Criminal Deputy William Bright, who was at the time head of the homicide squad, handled this case, scarcely leaving his office, is, I believe, an example of the technique of which our office is justly proud. We have substituted the old-fashioned third degree with common sense, shrewd psychology, and quick thinking. Listen carefully as Chief Bright finds his way through a maze of Oriental intrigue.
It is the morning of November 20th, 1930. Captain Bright, head of the homicide squad of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Office, is just entering his office.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Anything new this morning?
Nothing in the mail, but Deputy Sheriff Cloud is waiting to see you.
Send him in.
Yes, sir. Will you come in, please?
Good morning, Cloud. What's up?
Murder.
Yeah? Let's have it.
Well, there was a body discovered in an irrigation ditch out in Arcadia early this morning by a couple of mechanics on their way to work. Victims are Mexican. Papers on the body identify him as Luz Mata, a fruit grower from the Imperial Valley.
How was he killed?
His head and face were badly beaten, skull crushed, and his throat cut.
Thorough job, eh?
Rather.
Find anything at the scene?
Well, no weapons discovered, but we picked up several unburned and 3 burned matches near the body. There's one legible tire print, which I had photographed. Also, footprints around the body as though there'd been a struggle. I got pictures of them, too. The body's in the autopsy room at the morgue.
Any other identification besides the papers on the body?
Yes, I have positive identification by Mata's sister. He paid her a visit last night with his partner, Jose Gonzalez. Everything points to Gonzalez as the murderer.
How's that?
Well, he and Mata came to Los Angeles together to deliver a load of produce. Mata intended to collect several $100s owing him. Mata's sister says he'd already received some of it when she saw him last night. Sort of looks like Gonzalez bumped him off for his money. We've got an all-cars broadcast out to pick him up.
Yes, Doctor. Come in.
I've just finished the autopsy on Mata.
What did you find?
Well, it's rather a strange case. He was killed by a deep fracture in the skull. The throat was cut more than an hour after death.
What? Are you sure?
Positive. Rigor mortis had set in long before the throat was cut. No blood flowed from the wound.
Yeah, that's a new one on me.
Me too.
How long had he been dead, Doctor?
About 6 hours. That would place the murder around 1 a.m. this morning.
That checks. We talked to a gardener out there who worked all day yesterday in a field not 50 feet away from the scene of the crime, and he didn't notice anything unusual all day.
Yes, also, the burned matches would seem to indicate that the man was murdered after dark. Oh, Cloud.
Yes, sir.
I want to see those photographs of the footprints and tire tread as soon as they're ready.
Yes, sir.
And also look up Gonzalez in our files. See if he has a record.
Right away, sir.
After a thorough search of the files, Deputy Cloud returns to the captain's office.
I can't find any record on Gonzalez, Captain.
What? Oh, that's too bad. You know, Cloud, I've been thinking. There's something mighty funny about this case. Gonzalez is a Mexican, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Well, a Mexican would use his knife first. He wouldn't come back an hour later and slit his victim's throat just to make sure he was dead.
Yeah, that's right.
This thing might almost be called a murder mystery. I'll bet you a new hat we solve it.
I won't take you up. Not with your record of 98% solutions. Oh, by the way, Captain, here's the pictures of the footprints and the tire marks.
Oh, yes. These footprints are too blurred. They don't tell anything. But this is a clear tire impression. That ought to lead us somewhere. Oh, Cloud, I want you to...
Beg pardon, Captain.
Yes, Ayers?
We just picked up Gonzalez.
That's fine. Where is he?
Outside. He was driving Mata's truck when we arrested him. I took him through the morgue on the way up, and he identified the body.
Where's the truck?
Parked on the Spring Street side of the building.
Fine. Cloud, while I talk to this bird, you go over that truck. See if any of the tires compare with that print.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ayers. Bring in our suspect.
Yes, sir. Come on in, Gonzalez. This is Captain Bright.
Oh, sit down, Gonzalez. We want to ask you some questions about the murder of Luz Mata.
Si, senor.
Did you murder him?
Por Dios, no, senor.
You were arrested driving his truck.
Oh, si. I was on my way back to my rancho in Imperial Valley. I did not know Luz was dead until the officer told me.
When did you see him last?
Last night.
Where was he then?
At the home of a Japanese gardener.
Know his name?
Oh, si. Frank Nakamura.
Where were you?
Sitting outside in the truck. I waited there from 8 o'clock until after midnight. He did not come out, so I drove into Los Angeles and went down to the market looking for him.
And you never saw him?
Not until just now, down in the morgue.
You're sure that's him?
Oh, si. That was Luz.
Well, start from the time you left the Imperial Valley and tell me where you went and what you did.
We drove up from the Imperial Valley from Nyland and took our fruit to market. We delivered it yesterday morning. Then Mata went to the Mirador Dried Fruit Company to pick up a check.
Did he get it?
Oh, see, it was for... it was for $140, I think. He got some other money from his customers in the market. Then we drove out to see this Japanese gardener. Owed him $285. The Japanese told us to come back that afternoon, and he's have the money. So we went to see Mata's sister, and then we had a drink or two, and we went back to the gardener's house.
What time was that?
Oh, that must be about 7 o'clock. I sat in the truck, and Mata went inside, and he never came out that I saw.
And you waited there till after midnight? And you didn't go into the house?
No, senor. I just waited.
Waited 5 or 6 hours. Were you drunk?
No, senor. I do not drink.
Well, did Mata drink?
No, he did not drink neither.
But you just told me that you and Mata had a couple of drinks before you went to see the Japanese. Now, what do you mean?
Well, I mean we don't drink much, senor. We do not get drunk.
Oh, I see. Where does this Frank Nakamura live?
Out in Arcadia. On Sierra Street, I believe.
And you never went in the house all the time you waited?
No, senor.
Sure of that?
Positive.
Did you murder Mata?
Huh? No, senor. I've told you. He was my best friend. I would not think of
All right,
murdering.
Gonzalez. I'm sorry, but I'll have to hold you upstairs in jail in technical custody until I've investigated your statement. Book him on suspicion, Ayers.
Yes, sir.
And if Cloud's back, send him in.
Right. Come along, Gonzalez.
A likely cock and bull story. Well, Cloud, what about those tires on Gonzalez's truck?
They don't compare with this picture.
Are you sure?
Positive.
That's too bad. Why, Gonzalez is a made-to-order suspect. His story doesn't hang together. Claims he sat outside a Japanese gardener's house for 5 hours last night waiting for Mata. And then, when Mata didn't show, he didn't even go into the house, but he went back to town to look for him.
That sounds phony enough.
Sure does. Listen, when that fellow had his head beaten in, there must have been some blood.
Well, there was plenty out there. His throat may not have bled when it was cut, but he sure bled from those abrasions.
Good. Have Gonzalez's clothes examined in the lab for evidence of blood. Take the scrapings from his fingernails and see if there's blood in them. I can't give up our best suspect so easily. But in the meantime, I'm going to have a talk with this Frank Nakamura. Sit down, Mr. Nakamura. I want to ask you some questions.
Oh, yes. May I know for why I'm bringing here by policeman?
Sure. You know a Mexican fellow called Luz Mata?
Oh, Mata. Oh, Mata-san. Oh, yes, sir. I knowing him.
He was murdered last night.
Murder? Mata-san murder? Oh, no. This cannot be.
I didn't ask you to come down here to kid you. Luz Mata was murdered last night.
Oh, that's too bad.
Mata came to your house yesterday, didn't he?
Oh, yes, sir. He come 1-2 times.
Tell me about it.
Well, he come for paying money I owe to him. He come 1 time in the morning, but I'm not having money. He come back 7 o'clock. I pay him money.
How much?
Oh, I pay $600 for dates bought other time, and I pay $285 for dates bought this time.
$885. That's a lot of money. Did you get a receipt?
Oh, yes, sir. I having receipt.
Where is it?
Oh, I leave receipt at home.
When Mata came to your house, was he alone or was someone with him?
Tall Mexican fellow with him both times.
The second time he came, did this tall Mexican fellow come in the house?
Oh, yes, sir. Both fellow coming in house, drinking sake and talking. We do business. We have a nice time.
Drink much sake?
Oh, maybe so. 2 Mexican fellow, they get pretty drunk.
You sure they were drunk?
Oh, yes, they are pretty drunk.
When did they leave?
Oh, they leave after getting money and having a drink of sake.
Well, I guess that's about all I wanted to know, Nakamura. Thanks for coming down.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, nice clean overalls you got there, Nakamura. Wash them yourself?
Oh, what, please?
Your overalls. I say they're nice and clean. Look like they've been washed lately.
Oh, yes, sir. I washed them this morning. Yes, I washing myself. You see, my wife, she got much to do with the kids, so I wash them.
Well, you're a model husband. Thanks again for coming down.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Eddie. Japanese just left my office. Have him tailed. Send a man out to his house in Arcadia to meet him when he gets home. Get the receipts from him for $885 paid to Luz Mata for fruit. Tell the man who goes out to the house to look around and get a sample of the washing water from the Nakamura's washing machine or laundry tub or whatever they have, or from the ground where they throw their water. Yeah, that's right. Is Cloud out there? Good. Send him in. Well, Cloud, how about the tires on Nakamura's car?
Well, they don't tally with our picture either.
This is beginning to be discouraging. Did you search him when you brought him in?
Yes, sir. Explained it was a routine procedure.
Find anything?
Well, I got a scrap of paper with his handwriting on it, and these.
Matches with blue and yellow heads.
Yeah, they're the same kind of matches we found at the scene of the murder.
Yes, but on the other hand, they don't mean a great deal. There must be 100,000 people in Los Angeles carrying matches with blue and yellow heads in their pockets. What's on the scrap of paper?
Just a notation about vegetable spray.
Valuable as a specimen of his handwriting, though. This case begins to look bad for Gonzalez.
How's that?
Well, if Nakamura is telling the truth, Gonzalez is lying. The Japanese claims he and Mata got drunk out there last night.
Still, you haven't any positive evidence on Gonzalez.
No, but he was at the proper place at the proper time to commit the crime. And he lied in his statements.
Yes, and on the other hand, Gonzalez might have passed out in the truck outside the Japanese house, and anything could have happened to Mata while he was unconscious.
Yeah, that's true enough.
I don't feel that Gonzalez is the guilty party.
Why not?
Well, I just got some reports from the boys you sent down to the Imperial Valley to check on Mata and Gonzalez. According to all they can discover, those two were like brothers. Never been in trouble beyond getting drunk occasionally. Well, they've been pals for years.
Well, maybe you're right. I confess this thing's got me up a tree. Yeah? Oh, all right. Send him in.
Who is it?
Somebody with some information on the case. Can't tell what it is. Come in.
Captain Bright?
Yes?
I'm Howard Downing. I manage the branch bank at Figueroa and Pico.
Yes?
I have a little item I think should be brought to your attention in connection with the Mata murder.
Yes? What is it?
Well, this morning a young boy brought a check into the bank to be cashed. That check was made out to Luz Mata by the Mirador Dried Fruit Company.
Did you cash it?
Yes, after we asked him who sent him, and he told us a dark fellow who looked like a Mexican. It seemed to be all right. Lots of the men from the market send errand boys to have their checks cashed.
Have you got the check with you?
Yes, here it is.
For $140. That's the one Gonzalez told us about, Cloud.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the murder. I wouldn't have cashed the check, I can tell you. I didn't read about it until this afternoon's papers came out. Now, what I want to know is how can I get my money back? This will go hard with me, you know.
Now, listen, Mr. Downey. How can we tell you when you'll get your money back when we haven't caught the murderer yet? You leave this check with us.
Well, that's the only proof I have.
Do you think we're liable to mislay it? Why, this check may be the key to our case. Cloud.
Yes, sir?
Have the handwriting expert compare this signature on the back of the check with samples of Mata's, Nakamura's, and Gonzalez's handwriting. Let me know what he says as soon as possible.
Well, Captain, I got bad news on that handwriting comparison.
Yeah? How come?
Well, our expert says that the signature on the check doesn't compare with Mata's handwriting, with Nakamura's, or with Gonzalez.
Yeah, this thing is beginning to get my goat. Mata was bumped off for his money. Somebody even forged an endorsement of a check made out to him. Now, we got two perfectly good suspects, and neither of them tie in with forgery. I'm willing to admit I am up a blind alley. Captain Bright speaking. Yes. Yes? At 207 McDowell Street, eh? All right. Fine work. Yes, I'll take care of it. Keep after him. Well, Cloud, maybe this is it.
What's that?
That was the man I sent tailing Nakamura. He reports that Nakamura stopped on his way home at 207 McDowell Street and had a long conversation with the Japanese at that address. Come on. We'll pay a visit over there. Good afternoon, ma'am. We're from the sheriff's office.
Yeah? What do you want?
Do you take rumors here?
Yes?
Japanese?
I have a few.
Well, I understand a Japanese by the name of Frank Nakamura stopped by here about an hour ago to see a friend of his.
Well, there was a little Japanese come by here a while ago.
Who did he see?
A roomer of mine by the name of Tanaka. Yu Tanaka. Sort of a shifty little rat, to tell the truth.
How long has he been rooming here?
Oh, just came in the other night.
What night?
Night before last, I think it was.
What rooms he got?
Number 4. Down the hall, second door to the left.
Is he in?
No. Think I saw him go out.
Got a key to his room?
Yes.
Open it for us, will you?
All right. Come this way. There you are.
Thanks. Now you just go on about your work as though we weren't here, excepting that you might let us know if Tanaka comes back.
Yeah, all right. I will.
Come on, Cloud. Let's look the place over.
Nothing much to see. A couple of suits in the cupboard. Here's a handbag, but it's empty.
Wait a minute. Here's something in this drawer.
Yeah? What?
Discharge papers from San Quentin made out to you, Tanaka. Went up from San Francisco on robbery.
So, at last we run into a guy with a record.
Yeah, just because he served a term in the pen for robbery doesn't make him a murderer.
No, that's right.
Let's take a look down the hall.
Well, did you find what you was looking for?
Oh, more or less. Who lives on this floor?
Number 1 is occupied by a Japanese.
What's his name?
Moto. T. Moto.
And who lives in number 2?
S. Hamagori.
Japanese.
Yes. There's another in number 3.
What's his name?
D. Coney.
Well, that accounts for all the rooms on this floor, but this one here at the end of the hall. Who's in it?
That's the bathroom.
Only one on the floor?
Yes.
Come on, Cloud, let's look at it.
What's so interesting about a bathroom?
Sometimes you can find out more about people in their bathrooms than any place else. You know, just as I thought. An old-fashioned bathtub on legs.
What of it?
Oh, nothing, except that they make excellent hiding places.
For what?
Almost anything. It takes a more meticulous housekeeper than our landlady seems to be to clean out behind them. Hand me that curtain rod, will you, Cloud?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Going fishing behind the bathtub. I got a bite. Well, will you look at that?
A revolver.
Come on, let's have a look at it. One shell's been fired, 5 intact. Look, the one that's been fired has been fired twice.
Yeah. Dark stains on the butt. Look like blood to me.
Got your benzodine outfit with you?
Yeah?
All right. See whether it tests for blood.
Okay. Yeah, it's turning green. Yeah, the stains are blood, all right.
Which doesn't prove that this is the weapon used to beat out Luz Mata's brains. But it's a cinch it was used to pistol whip somebody. Stay here, Cloud. Pick up those 4 Japanese when they come in. I'll send somebody to stake out on you as soon as I get back to headquarters.
Yes, sir.
Back at headquarters, Deputy Penpraise is waiting for Captain Bright.
Well, Penpraise?
I've just returned from Nakamura's. He didn't have any receipt for money paid to Mata, so I took him in custody. He's upstairs. I got some scrapings from the washing machine and water from the drain out at his house. They're being analyzed now.
Good. Nakamura still got on those clean overalls?
Yes.
Have them analyzed, too. And also get the scrapings from under Nakamura's nails.
Yes, sir.
On your way out, tell Ayers to join Cloud down at 207 McDowell Street. He's taking out some more Japanese. Oh, and by the way, wire this gun number to the manufacturers and ask them to trace it.
The first Japanese to be picked up at the McDowell Street stakeout is Hamagori. He is brought to headquarters, and some suspicious stains on his trousers are immediately analyzed. He is then led into Captain Bright's office.
Hamagori, the stains on your trousers are blood. How did they get there?
I not know how they got there, but these trousers, they were being worn not only by me.
Who else wore?
My trousers were lent to you, Tanaka, by Coney, a friend of mine.
Tanaka again. That's all you know about the trousers?
Yes. Well, I know.
All right, Sergeant. Take him out. This way. You know, Penpraise, that's a plausible enough story. If that Jap knew there were bloodstains on his trousers, he'd certainly have washed them out.
Yeah, that's right. And by the way, here's the lab report on the drain water from Nakamura's and also on Nakamura's overalls.
Yeah, both show blood, eh? Well, we're getting warmer, Penpraise. Now we've got two suspects with blood on them.
The other Japanese from the rooming house substantiate Hamagori's story about Tanaka borrowing the trousers. But Tanaka himself has not appeared. A day goes by while the deputies continue to stake out the rooming house, and during which the manufacturers of the blood-stained gun report that the last trace they had of the weapon was when it was registered at the Rock Island Arsenal in 1905. The following morning, Deputy Sheriff Cloud brings a strange document into Captain Bright's office.
Hey, Cap, get a look at a load of this.
Why, what's up, Cloud?
Plenty. Letter came from Nakamura in this morning's mail. Just about breaks our case.
What is it?
And apparently the Japanese confessed the murder to his wife when she visited him in jail yesterday and told he was going to act crazy. And here's her reply. He says here, "Pitiable, lamentable, my dear Makoto Nakamura. When I saw your haggard face before me, I feel very sad. Your final fate is near. You are acting, I think it is, like crazy, and if sent to the hospital, then when the 6 children grow up, this will be a great stumbling block for their future. Also, your ancestors will be greatly ashamed. Do you not understand this? For you to try to save your life this way is wrong. Think of these 6 loving children. When they grow up, their future will be darkened. This does not reveal a parent's true feeling and love. Do you think? Although you may get angry, yes, that's what it is, I am worrying about the future of the children. I swallow my tears and make this final request of you. Act like a man and a samurai." Well, she goes on like this for pages, pleading with him to confess so the kids won't have a blot against them.
That's swell. Maybe this will crack the case. Hey, let me see that letter.
Yeah, here you are.
And bring Nakamura down here. I want him to see it.
The little Japanese, pale and nervous from his 2 days in jail, is led into the captain's office, given the letter to read while the 2 officers watch him intently for the slightest change of expression. Halfway through, tears come to Nakamura's eyes, and by the time he has finished the letter, he is sobbing.
Well, Frank, how about it? We know what's in that letter. There's no use you trying to lie about it any longer. And aside from that, I should think you'd want to come clean after what your wife says there.
Yes, sir. I telling her everything. I not holding back any source, like that's a fact.
Oh, that's fine, Frank. Well, start talking.
Well, when the mother coming to my house for money, I have not the money. My friend Tanaka was with me. He say, "Oh, I have an idea. Tell him we having to go to the country for money." So I telling mother, and mother saying he go with us. Well, we get the mother drunk. Then 3 of us driving the country. When we get out, Tanaka stop the car. We put the gun to mother's back and pull the trigger, but the gun no go off.
That accounts for the 2 hammer marks on the empty shell, Cloud.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Frank.
Well, gun no go off. Now, Tanaka hitting mother with the bottom end of gun. I run away, but Tanaka call me back. He having a blister on the hand from hitting, so I hit the mother some more. He roll over, and I think he's dead.
Then what did you do?
Oh, we driving to my house.
Whose car were you in?
Oh, in my car.
No, I want you to tell the truth, Frank. We have a photograph of the tire mark at the scene of the murder, and it doesn't correspond with any of the tires on your car.
Oh, Ken for explaining that. We blow out tire on the way home. Run on the rim. Spoiled tire. So, I buy a second-hand tire at the gas station and throw all tire away.
How's that for the bad brakes, Cloud? The only tire mark we have is the one that blew out. But, Frank, Mata's throat was cut. You haven't accounted for that.
Oh, I coming to that. After we get home, Tanaka worried maybe Mata not dead. Or maybe he coming back to life and talking, or tell who beat him. So we go back to the place where Mata is and cut his throat. So no doubt he's dead.
Nakamura grows more voluble, goes on with the bloody details of his crime. Within an hour, the early editions of the afternoon papers are carrying the story of the confession. And late that afternoon, a Japanese walks into the Boyle Heights police station.
What can I do for you, buddy?
I am under the impression that I am wanted by the police.
Yeah, what for?
Murder.
Whose murder?
I am Yu Tanaka, who murdered the Mexican Mata. I perceived that it would be useless for me to try to escape now that my weak-willed accomplice has told everything. Therefore, I save you any further trouble. Will you kindly place handcuffs on my wrist?
The last piece of this complicated jigsaw puzzle of crime was put into place when the handwriting expert at headquarters identified Tanka's writing as that of the forgery on Mata's check. Gonzalez, of course, was completely cleared of any complicity in the murder, and Nakamura and Tanaka were quickly brought to trial, found guilty of murder, and sentenced to San Quentin Penitentiary for life.
Thank you, Sheriff Biscalou. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear the screaming siren, when police cars roar past, remember Rio Grande cracked gasoline, the gasoline that gives police car performance. When airplanes fly overhead, remember Sinclair motor oil, for they lubricate over 100,000 air miles a day on the leading transport lines in America. When trains thunder past, remember that Sinclair oils lubricate over 150 leading American railroads. And when you think of oils and lubricants, think of Sinclair, for Sinclair is one of the world's largest makers of lubricants of all kinds, with more than 120 different grades, the largest and most complete line of lubricants in America. Independent retailers of Rio Grande cracked gasoline have been trained in the scientifically correct application of these many Sinclair lubricants to your car. They have an up-to-the-minute record checked and approved by every car manufacturer, showing exactly when and how to lubricate every moving part of your car. If you want your car accurately lubricated, according to the manufacturer's specifications, take it to your Rio Grande dealer and ask for Sinclair Scientific Lubrication. It costs no more. And while you're in the Rio Grande station, ask for a free copy of the Calling All Cars News and see the 15 different articles in the complete junior detective outfit which Rio Grande gives to boys and girls absolutely free.
Police calling all cars, attention all cars, attention all Los Angeles County Sheriff's cars, cancellation broadcast 131 regarding a murder near Arcadia. Suspects in this case now in custody. That's all.
Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 132 regarding missing adults. Be on the lookout for Mr. and Mrs. Henry Steinhauer. This elderly couple have not been seen since 5:30 Friday morning. That's all. Rosenquist.
Many listeners must wonder why it is that year after year Rio Grande cracked gasoline continues to power more police and emergency cars than any other brand. It is because Rio Grande cracked has one advantage which no other gasoline can claim. Here in the West, Rio Grande is the only company licensed to manufacture gasoline by the Sinclair cracking process, which is recognized the world over as the most efficient refining process known. Rio Grande has invested millions of dollars to build one of the finest cracking plants in America. The gasoline that is cracked in this great refinery has qualities you'll find in no other gasoline. Many cities and counties have tested Rio Grande crack, and their unbiased records prove conclusively that motors develop more power, speed, and acceleration with this scientifically balanced gasoline, and yet instead of being more expensive, Rio Grande cracked with tetraethyl is actually the cheapest gasoline they can buy. Figure your own gasoline purchases from the viewpoint of miles per dollar, and you too will find you can enjoy police car performance in your own car at no extra cost. And now it is our pleasure to present Chief of Detectives H.S. Seeger of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Seeger.
Good evening, friends. The average citizen's concept of the police is limited, naturally, by his contact with them. The motorcycle officer, who perhaps gives him a ticket for a traffic violation, or the radio patrolman who may answer his call about a barking dog. It is our hope, and the hope of the sponsors of Calling All Cars, that this broadcast may give the citizen and taxpayer a clearer idea of the complicated organization which lies behind the officer he may casually contact. It is an organization of highly trained specialists, criminologists, chemists, ballistic experts, an organization of hundreds of men employing the most modern systems of communication, an organization whose efficiency is not limited to the community it serves, but is an important cog in a great machine of similar organizations which represent society's only bulwark against the forces of crime. Your policeman is an honored soldier of a vast army which 24 hours a day does battle in your name in the never-ending war against crime.
November 20th, 1935. In the University Division headquarters of the Los Angeles Police Department, Sergeant A.H. Wingerton is taking down a routine report.
What are the names of the missing persons?
Mr. and Mrs. Henry Steinhauer.
Their address?
1839 West 43rd Street.
How long have they been missing?
As far as we can tell, since 5:30 yesterday morning.
Your name?
Britton, George Britton. Mm-hmm. I'm the engineer at the Lewis Radio Company. Mr. Steinhauer works for me.
Well, what makes you think that something's happened to Mr. and Mrs. Steinhauer?
Well, Henry Steinhauer's worked for me for 3 years or more. He was always punctual. Sometimes he would tell me that he might be late the next day because he had to pay the gas bill or something like that. But the thing about Henry was that he never was late. He'd manage to do his errand and still get to work on time.
Mm-hmm.
When he failed to show up for work yesterday morning, I thought it was strange he hadn't told me that he'd be late. And then when he didn't show up all day and wasn't at his desk this morning, I began to get worried, so I called the house. Mr. Drake here answered the phone, and, well, maybe he'd better tell you himself what he knows about it.
I see. What's your full name?
Leroy Drake.
Address?
I live with the Steinhauers. I'm their nephew.
When did you last see them?
Well, my aunt came to my bedroom door about 5:30 Friday morning and said that she and Uncle Henry were going to San Pedro to see the landlady about the house. She said they'd be back later, but they didn't come back. It's got me worried. They never went away like this before.
Well, we'll get a broadcast out to all cars to look for them.
Now, wait a minute. I don't know whether that would be a good idea.
Well, why not?
Well, if they aren't in trouble, and they're gone, say, to San Diego to the fair, they wouldn't like the publicity. Henry would be pretty angry, I'm sure.
Well, the only thing we can do in that case is to check the hospitals and the morgue.
Perhaps that would be best.
I'd advise you to let me send out a broadcast for them.
Suppose we wait until Monday. If they haven't returned by then, you'd better broadcast it.
All right. Will you come back Monday then?
Yes. We'll let you know what's happened on Monday.
Over the weekend, Sergeant Wingerton checks the hospitals, the morgue, the sheriff's office for news of the missing couple. But his inquiries are fruitless. When Mr. Britton returns Monday morning with no further news of the Steinhauers, Captain Stone informs Detective Lieutenants Guy Rudolph and Frank Condaffer of the facts and assigns the two officers to the case. Their first step is to visit the Steinhauer residence. For several minutes, they stand on the front porch, ringing the doorbell.
Well, I guess the kid's not home, Frank.
Well, I didn't expect him to be. Captain said he was in court today.
Well, let's try the house next door. See what the neighbors know about the Steinhauers.
That's a good idea. Come on.
Yes?
We're looking for Mr. and Mrs. Steinhauer.
And nobody here by that name.
Yes, I know. They live next door, but they don't seem to be at home. Do you know where they've gone?
I didn't even know until just this minute what their name was.
Oh, I see. You're not very well acquainted with your neighbors, then.
I haven't had time. They just moved in a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, they did.
Have you seen them in the past day or two?
Oh, I haven't noticed. I've got too much to do around the house to keep tab on my neighbors. But I saw the kid drive in a new car, though.
You mean Leroy Drake, their nephew?
Well, I don't know what his name is. I suppose he was their son.
When did the boy come in with a new car?
Oh, I don't know. A couple of days ago, I suppose. Well, I really didn't notice much.
Well, what make of car was it?
I don't know. It was a flashy thing, though. One of those stripped-down Fords, I guess.
Is there anything else you know about them?
Anything else? I don't know anything about them.
Well, thank you just the same.
Oh, you're welcome.
The kid shows up in a new car on Saturday, the day he got $5 from Britain because he didn't have enough to eat on. That looks a little strange.
That night, the officers tail Leroy Drake as he drives off in his stripped-down Ford. Their trail has not much consequence, for the youth only goes to Long Beach, picks up his girlfriend, and takes her to a movie. But the officers have not wasted time, for they are now in possession of the address of the girl and the license number of Leroy's car. Next morning, while a check is being made on the car, Condaffer and Rudolph present themselves at the Steinhauer house.
Now, Mr. Drake, we'd like to get your angle on the disappearance of your aunt and uncle.
Oh, gosh, I don't know what to make of it. They never went away like this before. I'm sure something terrible's happened to them.
Well, maybe they just went away for a little trip.
Oh, no. They wouldn't have done that without leaving me any money.
And they didn't leave you any?
No, not a cent. I had to borrow $5 from Mr. Britton Saturday.
And what exactly did your aunt say to you on Friday morning?
Well, she came to the door of my room about 5:30. She said she and Uncle Henry were going down to San Pedro to see the landlady about the house and that they'd be back home soon.
Is that all she said?
That's all I can remember. I was pretty sleepy, of course. I feel sure something terrible has happened to them. I haven't been able to sleep ever since Friday. The suspense is awful.
Well, look, Drake. It doesn't seem likely anything could have happened to your uncle and aunt without us knowing about it. We sent their description and the description of their car all over the state by teletype. And we're broadcasting their description to all police and sheriff's cars every hour. We've checked all the hospitals. If they'd had a serious accident, it would have been reported to us by now.
Maybe they went over the edge of a canyon someplace up in the mountains. They might not be found for days. They might be in some lonely place now, suffering, needing help.
No sense in getting so excited, Drake.
You're letting your imagination get away from you, my boy.
I'm sorry. But you see how upset I am?
Yes. Yes, I see.
Do you mind showing us through the house, just to check if everything's in order?
Well, I've already looked all around, and there's nothing out of place.
Well, do you mind showing us?
No.
Let's start with this room first.
That's their room.
Oh. Well, nothing seems out of place here.
How about those clothes in the closet? Anything missing there, Drake?
Oh, no, sir. Their clothes are all there.
Well, do you mind checking them over again, please?
No, of course not. Say, there's two of my aunt's dresses gone. And one suit.
How about baggage?
Yeah, there's a suitcase gone, too.
Well, then they could have gone on a trip, eh, Drake?
Yes. It looks like it, doesn't it? But even if they did, they'd have gotten in touch with me before this. Something must have happened to them.
Where's your room, Drake?
Down the hall.
Let's see it.
Why? What do you want to look in there for?
Oh, just for fun. Do you mind showing us?
Very well. This way.
Did your uncle have any money, Drake?
Yes, a little.
Where is it?
It's in a bank in Long Beach.
Why in Long Beach?
Well, we used to live there until the first of the month.
How much did your uncle have?
About $1,500, I guess. Here's my room. It's pretty much of a mess without my aunt here to clean it up.
Well, nice cozy room.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
That your car out back there, that strip Ford?
Yeah, that's mine. My uncle bought it for me.
What's this piece of glass here on the desk?
Oh, that's an old porthole from a ship. I'm grinding it down to make a lens for a telescope.
Interested in astronomy, huh?
Yeah. Been working for a year on that lens.
What's this junk here? More astronomy?
Oh, no. There's some gadgets I got from my car last week. But I've been so worried I haven't felt like putting them on.
Are these your papers in the desk drawer here?
Yeah, just some old junk I threw in there.
I see.
Anything important, Frank?
No, just a lot of old junk. Well, what do you say you ride over to the station with Guy and me, Drake? We've got to make a report, and then we'll all go out and have lunch, huh?
Okay. I'll be glad to.
At the station, the two detectives receive the report on Drake's car, and then, discussing the broadest generalities, they take the youth to lunch. An hour later, they drive him out to Exposition Park and begin to question him in earnest.
Drake, we understand from what you and Mr. Britton told us that you were broke Saturday, and Mr. Britton lent you $5.
That's right, he did.
Yet among these unimportant papers we found in your desk drawer were receipts from an automobile supply store for tires and other car supplies amounting to more than $12. These receipts were dated Saturday.
Well, you see, Lieutenant Condever...
Now, don't start explaining until you've heard what we've got to say. You also stated to us this morning that your uncle had some money in a bank in Long Beach. In your desk drawer, we found bank books for savings and checking account in your uncle's name on a branch bank at 49th and Western.
I can explain that, you see.
You told us that your uncle had bought you that car. But we've checked the car and find that you paid $150 for it Saturday afternoon and that you bought it in your uncle's name.
Now, how about it, Drake? What's the real story?
I think you fellas know more about this than you're telling. Please don't keep me in suspense like this. What's happened to my uncle and my aunt?
No hysterics. Drake, we want to know the truth about that money.
Well, I lied to you about the money, I guess.
You guess?
Yeah. Uncle transferred his bank account last week from Long Beach to the branch out on Western. And on Saturday, I transferred $400 from his savings account to his checking account.
You transferred it? What do you mean?
Well, I drew it out.
You mean you forged your uncle's signature?
Well, you could call it that, I guess, but I didn't figure it made any difference.
You didn't? Why not?
Well, you see, that money was left me by my grandfather. Uncle Henry was keeping it for me until I was 21. I figured I was entitled to it, seeing as how Uncle and Aunt had gone away and left me.
Where are your uncle and aunt, Drake?
I don't know. I wish I did. But you guys know. You know a lot more about this than you'll say. They're dead, aren't they? Take me to them. Show me the bodies.
The only one who can do that is you, Drake.
What do you mean? I don't know anything about them. I don't know where they've gone. But you know. You found them. Probably dead in an accident, and you're keeping it from me. You're torturing me. Tell me what you've done with them. Where are you taking me now?
Down to Long Beach.
Down to Long Beach? What for?
To see Maybelle.
Now, listen, Lieutenant. You keep Maybelle out of this. She doesn't know a thing about it. She hardly knows me, even.
It didn't look that way the other night when you drove her home after the movies.
What do you mean?
We were following you.
The two detectives drive the frantic youth down to Long Beach, to the house of his girlfriend, Maybelle. The officers interview the girl on the front porch, where they can keep an eye on Drake, whom they have left seated in the police car.
Why, yes, Leroy came down to see me on Friday night.
Well, what did you do?
We went to a movie, but we only stayed through the first feature because he said he had to be home early.
Did he give you any reason?
Yes, he said that his uncle and aunt were leaving early the next morning to go on a vacation. What's this all about? Is Leroy in trouble?
Well, not exactly, miss, but, you see, his uncle and aunt, Mr. and Mrs. Steinauer, are missing. We're trying to locate them.
They're not missing. They're on a vacation.
How do you know that?
Why, Leroy told me.
Well, when did they go away?
Saturday morning.
How do you know this?
Why, Leroy came down to see me Friday night. He left early because he said he had to see his uncle and aunt off early the next morning.
That'd be Saturday morning?
Yes.
You're sure of the days?
Positive.
Well, then something is wrong, because Mr. and Mrs. Steinauer have been missing since Friday morning.
Oh.
Take her inside, Guy. I'm going to have another talk with Drake.
Come along, man.
What's Rudolph going inside with her for? What's he going to do to her?
Nothing, kid. She's just getting her hat and coat, and we're taking her up to jail.
What for? She has nothing to do with this. She doesn't even know my uncle and aunt.
We can't take any chances.
Oh, if you're taking her to jail, what about me? Am I under arrest?
What does it look like to you?
For what? Why are you arresting me?
Suspicion of murder.
Listen, Condaffer. Maybelle doesn't know a thing about this. She's absolutely innocent. You can't mix her up in it.
We can't take any chances.
Listen, I'll tell you all about it. Only don't get Maybelle mixed up. Take me in there and I'll tell you all about it in front of her.
All right. Come on. Drake's ready to talk, Guy.
Good.
What's it all about, Leroy?
Just sit down, honey, and I'll tell you all about it. It's going to be hard to take, but I got to tell the whole thing. In the first place, Maybelle, they got me on trial up in L.A. for auto theft.
Leroy!
Oh, I ain't guilty, honey. That's beside the point. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. But I couldn't keep it from my uncle and aunt. And they've been worrying plenty. Auntie's been brooding, saying she couldn't face the shame of it. They sent me away. Uncle felt the same way, too, I guess, but he didn't say much. Anyway, they were a proud couple, so I guess that's the reason they did it.
Did what?
Committed suicide.
Oh. Go on, tell us about it.
Well, when we were finishing up supper Friday night, Uncle Henry emptied his coffee cup, and a minute later he was gasping for breath and asking for water. He got up and stumbled into the front room and fell down. I was bringing the water into him, and I heard a thud. And I looked around, and I saw Auntie fall in her tracks. I ran back and took her pulse, and she was dead. And I went back with the water for Uncle Henry, but he didn't need it. He was dead, too.
Oh, no.
Where are the bodies?
I'm coming to that. I didn't know what to do for a while. I just sat there and looked at them. Then it occurred to me that if they were so afraid of the disgrace of me maybe going to Quinton, they'd be more ashamed if there was a lot of publicity about them committing suicide. So I figured I'd get rid of the bodies and tell people they'd gone away, disappeared. Then they wouldn't be disgraced, see?
I see quite clearly.
Go on.
There's nothing more to tell. You two guys know the rest. You found the bodies. That's the reason you've been playing with me all day like a cat with a mouse. You've got your confession. Only ain't you surprised? It isn't a confession at all, see? I haven't done anything. Except help a couple of old people to hide their shame.
Now, take it easy, kid. Take it easy. You jump at conclusions. We haven't the slightest idea where the bodies are. We had no suspicions of you when we started to question you this morning. It was your own guilty knowledge and the fact that we didn't accuse you that made you tell us the whole story, if you have. Now, finish it up. Where are the bodies?
I drove them off the pier over in Wilmington.
You drove them off the pier?
Yeah. I put Uncle Henry in the front seat and Auntie in the back seat and propped them up so they'd look natural.
Pardon me, please. I can't stand any more of this.
Good. Go ahead, Drake.
Then I drove them down to Wilmington. I went out on a couple of piers, but there were too many people around. They were loading ship. Then I found a nice deserted pier, and I got the car rolling, slipped it in a high, and jumped out. Went right off the end.
Which pier was it?
On Graceline dock. I hung around for an hour to see if the bodies would float, but they didn't come up. So I went home.
Are you telling us the truth?
Of course I am.
It's unbelievable.
Well, I guess I'd better call headquarters and have them send a diver over there, Frank.
Right. And we'll go straight over from here. That is, if Drake doesn't mind showing us his uncle and aunt's watery grave.
Not at all. I'd be glad to.
Rudolph's call to Chief of Detectives Joe Taylor has immediate results. By the time Drake and his police escort arrive at the end of the dock, a delegation of reporters and police officials are already there. And the fireboat, under the command of Captain Dykeman, with diving apparatus aboard, is steaming down the harbor.
Here's the fireboat coming in. Think you can show us where the car went down, Drake?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let's start dragging.
The flat, dead sun drops its molten disk into the diurnal grave. Its steaming spirit silently hisses across the gray waters of the harbor as the tiny boat drops its ghoulish fingers over the side. As night squats across the world, they scrape furtively at the harbor floor, metal hands groping for the lost dead. The silent group of the living, huddled together on the deck of the fireboat themselves, become the image of the dead as the tiny licking fingers of the fog embrace them, transform them into formlessness. And each man, peering into the black, oily water, dreads the accomplishment of the mission which has brought him there. Dreads that moment of horror to which no man can ever become accustomed. That moment when the sea gives back her dead. Hour after hour, the living slowly steam back and forth, vainly enticing the dead with bait of steel and wire. And time again, the sea with grim humor raises their hopes and their fears as the hook takes hold, is carefully hauled aboard, bearing not a corpse, but a waterlogged barrel, a rusted snarl of cable, the hull of a wrecked dinghy. But at last, the grappling hook catches, holds fast, will not move. The diving gear is quickly assembled. Captain Dykeman, assisted by 2 helpers, slowly squirms into the massive leaden shod suit. The great apocryphal helmet is placed over his head, bolted into place. The pumps are started, the telephone tested, and supported by his men, the captain takes his place on the stage. Here is a figure worthy of the mission. Here, indeed, is an emissary to Hades, a god who wears 40-pound boots, whose head is one huge eye. Here is a cyclops to wrest the dead from Neptune. Slowly, the stage drops beneath the surface. The harbor water slips up to the captain's waist, to his shoulder, laps about the window of his helmet, covers him. A grapefruit rind floating out to sea pauses to dance amid the bubbles of his exhaust valve as he disappears from sight. A moment of silence. And then the earphones of the helper on deck speak.
Hold your cable. I'm on bottom.
All right, hold the cable. Have you found it, sir?
Yes. It's buried pretty deep in the mud. Over on one side. If I can get this door open. There. This must be Mr. Steinhauer's body in the front seat. It's quite a job moving him. There. I've got him clear. I'll put him on the stage. And you can haul him up while I get Mrs. Steinhauer out of the back seat. There you are. Haul away the stage. Easy. Easy. Mr. Steinhauer's on it.
A few moments later, Mrs. Steinhauer's body is hauled aboard to lie beneath the tarpaulin beside her husband. Condaffer and Rudolph lead the emotionless Drake across the deck to the gruesome addition to their company.
Drake, I want you to take a good look at these bodies and tell me if they're your uncle and aunt.
Well, they look different. But that's them, all right.
Drake is taken back to University Station, where he is questioned by Condaffer and Rudolph and Lieutenant Jack Donahue and Captain Stone. Stoutly, he sticks to his story that his aunt and uncle had entered into a suicide pact. But as midnight thins into dawn, it is evident that the relentless logic of the police is beginning to take effect.
I don't see why you guys keep asking me these fool questions. You know more about this than you're telling. You've known more about it all along. You've been playing with me like a cat plays with a mouse. I'm sick of it.
And we're sick of that crack-brained story of yours, that your uncle and aunt committed suicide.
Listen, kid. In the first place, we've got forgery on you on your own confession. You're in a tough spot, and it won't hurt you any to tell us the truth.
I know I'm in a tough spot. But I can't do anything but tell the truth, can I?
And that's all we want. You told us that your uncle and aunt died from poisoned coffee they gave themselves. Is that true?
Yes.
When did this happen?
At dinner Friday night.
But you told the sergeant last Saturday that the last time you saw your aunt was at 5:30 Friday morning, when she told you she was going to San Pedro.
Well?
Is that true?
Well, yes. No, that is...
Well, both statements can't be true. Now, what is the truth?
Oh, will you let me go to sleep if I tell you the whole story?
Gladly. We're just as sleepy as you are.
Well, this is the way it happened. I told you how worried my uncle and aunt were about me being in trouble. That's the truth. I worried about it, too. Not for myself, but it upset me how they were worrying. They were getting along, over 60. I figured they wouldn't survive the shock and disgrace if I was to be sent to prison. It seemed to me that the kindest thing I could do would be to kill them, and then they'd never be unhappy about me. They'd never know what happened to me.
Sort of a mercy killing, eh?
You could call it that. Well, I thought of all the ways I could do it. I thought of driving them over a cliff. I was afraid they'd only be crippled instead of being killed. Then I thought of poison. But I was afraid that an autopsy would show that up. Finally, I decided to poison them and then drive them off the dock where they'd never be found. And that's when I did.
Oh. And you did this because you wanted to spare them the disgrace of your going to prison, eh?
That's right.
That $1,500 bank account of your uncle's that you've already committed forgery on couldn't have influenced you at all, I suppose.
Of course not. And anyway, that money was rightfully mine.
Further investigations by the officers proved that this third story of Leroy Drake's was indeed true. The youth was identified at the store where he had bought the cyanide that killed his uncle and aunt, and the bottle which contained the poison and also carried Drake's fingerprints was subsequently discovered. Drake was quickly brought to trial and pleaded not guilty, and not guilty by reason of insanity. But when the defense counsel realized the magnitude of the case we had built against his client, he threw him on the mercy of the court. On December the 17th, 1935, Drake was sentenced to life imprisonment in San Quentin Penitentiary on 2 counts of first-degree murder, and with the recommendation that he never be granted parole.
Thank you, Chief Seeger. Ladies and gentlemen, for complete stories and descriptions of the true crime cases to be broadcast on this program, get the new June edition of the Calling All Cars News, given away free wherever Rio Grande cracked gasoline is sold. A double-size, extra edition this month, full of true detective mysteries, radio and movie news. Rio Grande also offers, free to every boy and girl, a complete junior detective outfit of 14 valuable gifts. See the Calling All Cars News for details. While you're in the Rio Grande station, ask about Sinclair Motor Oil, the oil that pioneered the new processes you hear so much about nowadays. As one of the world's largest manufacturers of lubricants, Sinclair perfected the de-waxing and the de-jellying process, which extracts all waste material, leaving only pure oil that gives instant and complete lubrication the second you step on the starter, and provides an amazingly thin and unbelievably tough film of protection. Sinclair motor oils are so thin there's no drag to hold back the flying pistons of high-compression motors, and it's guaranteed never to break down at highest speed. You can get these great oils in refinery-sealed, tamper-proof cans, and your Rio Grande cracked gasoline dealer guarantees Sinclair motor oils to give you your money's worth. Sinclairize for lubrication safety.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, a cancellation broadcast 132 regarding 2 missing persons. These missing persons have been found, murdered. That's all. Rolls and quit.
Narrator Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.